Raid Shadow Legends April Fool's event is here, and it's kind of ridiculous what they're doing, but the rewards are actually pretty worth it and really quite easy to get a hold of if you follow the right steps. So we're going to jump into it today. Yes, some of the rewards are as ridiculous as 100 mystery shards, but there is two parts to this event, and I'm going to explain why you want to take part in it and how you can do it with the least amount of energy possible, because you may miss out on some details. Now, before we do that, if you're new to Raid Shadow Legends, make sure to check out my QR code right here, or use my link in the description to get three amazing epic champions as you level up, and the choice between one of these amazing legendary champions when you start your account. So, let's start here. What do we want to do? Well, the goal of this is you get points for summoning mystery shards. It doesn't matter what you get inside the mystery shards, you just got to summon a bunch of them. You get 1 point for mystery shard, 1 point for ancient shard, 1 point for any shard in the game. So obviously we're not going to be wasting our other shards, we're going to be focusing on mystery shards, and we want to try and complete this because at the end there's a legendary skill tome, an ancient shard, a mortal soul stone, some gems. You know, obviously the skill tome is the biggest thing. So basically, we're going to need to open 1,000 mystery shards. Now, if you have 1,000 lying around, then you're good to go. I've currently got 446. So I'm not going to be able to get all of these rewards, but I can get more from the Mystery Dungeon Divers event. We can get a total of about let's see, 260 mystery shards. No, actually 300 mystery shards from this Dungeon Divers event. Now, it's not a normal Dungeon Divers event, okay? You will get 2 points regardless of what mode you play. If it's a common artifact with 1 star or a mythical artifact with 6 star, you're still getting 2,000 points, which means the most effective, efficient energy, efficient way to do this would actually be to go all the way down to normal 1, where it costs 4 energy per artifact, right? Now, you're not going to get much XP for that, but that would, in total, cost around, what? To complete this whole thing, let's have a look real quick. We would need a total of 650 points. It would cost us 325 energy on that mission. Now, we're not going to get much XP for that or much good reward, so there's another option we could do. We could still go to 12-3 Brutal and farm campaign champs there. Now, this is going to cost 8 energy per artifact. So instead of 325, it's going to cost you 650 energy to complete the whole event, right? Now, that is a bit more. That's double. So you got to weigh, is it worth spending the energy but still leveling up your champs? Or do you want to go energy sort of savvy? If you do something like dungeons, this is probably the worst way to do it if you're thinking about energy. If you do this, for example, Dragon level 20, it's going to cost you 1,200 or 1,300 energy to do it through this method. So the lower level content that you do, the more less energy, it's going to take to complete this. So honestly, my advice would probably stick with 12-3 Brutal. At least you get some XP for it along the way anyway, and some silver. Probably the most efficient way to do it. So that's what we're going to do there. And then, I mean, I guess we open 1,000 mystery shards. Now, there's one more thing to realize. You're going to be opening 1,000 mystery shards, right? Actually, is it 1,000? No, it's not. Yes, it is. It is 1,000. You got to open 1,000 mystery shards, which is quite a lot. So you're going to have 1,000 champions sitting around, and there's something you're going to need to be aware of. Not all uncommon champions are terrible. I want to go through some that are definitely worth keeping. And one of the great things about leveling up uncommon champions is if you go to the tavern, you can use duplicates to upgrade their skills, right? So, for example, let me find an uncommon champion here to give you a good example. Let's say we get this guy here. We go to tavern. We can upgrade his skills by sacrificing duplicates. So it's a really easy way to make sure that you are kind of getting an uncommon fully booked up without wasting any rare skill tomes, which is really nice. Now, there are a few uncommons that you want to make sure that you don't feed and don't use as food. One of them being Armiger. He is the #1 uncommon in the game, and honestly, he's highly, highly underrated. He is really good, and I'll explain why with his skills. His main skill, attacks one enemy, decreases the turn meter by 30% if this attack is critical. This is extremely useful on Spider specifically, and a lot of boss fights and dungeons that require you to reduce the turn meter so that you can avoid taking damage. This is really, really good. The next ability, attacks one enemy, enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived, and it's damage based on enemy max HP. This is a really good way to chunk down the health of bosses as well in dungeons and even Doom Tower. Really underrated champion that you're going to want to book up to the highest level, and you're definitely going to want to get 100% crit rate on him because he's going to need it to make sure that he can hit this thing. And interestingly enough, this damage is based on his defense stat, which is really, really interesting. So you actually want to build this guy out with critical rate, defense, and speed. You don't really need to go highly into attack, and you don't want to go focus too much in HP. You actually want as much defense as possible, which I think is one of the most underrated parts of this. It's based on his defense. The more defense he has, the more damage he can actually do. So keep that in mind. Now, there are a couple more uncommons that we really should be keeping. The first of which is Shield Guard. Now, Shield Guard, none of the uncommons I'm going to share are quite as good as Armor Guard. Keep that in mind, but if you get a bunch of them, you may as well book one up and get him leveled up a bit. This Shield Guard has some interesting skills as well. Mainly his ability on his A1 to decrease speed for 2 turns, which can be useful for a lot of faster dungeon content, right? And attacks all enemies, fills his champion's turn meter by 20% on each critical hit. Damage inflicted is proportional to defense as well. And he can remove 1 debuff from himself each turn. So it's mainly his uppercut. Like I say, he's not quite as good as Armiger, but he's worth holding on to if you can get a bunch of them from this event. Next, we have Outlaw Monk. Now, once again, not as good as Armiger, and he's a very sort of niche, but he does have a couple good opportunities to be good in early game Dragon and Dungeon and Doom. Clan boss. What is the clan boss called? I forgot the name. Hang on, I just need to go back and check. The Demon Lord. Demon Lord, there we go. He's good in Demon Lord. He's not obviously better than like Legendaries, and he's not as good as Armiger, but he still has some use. So I do kind of want to show you why you may also want to keep an eye on him and book him if you get a bunch of him. Both of his attacks basically are quite interesting. But it really mainly comes down to his A2. Places two poison debuffs on the target for 2 turns. So this is quite a good way to poison. And obviously poison can be really, really good. So underrated choice there. And besides that, there isn't much else to kind of keep an eye on. Another thing to keep an eye on, though, is Ancient Shards currently have an extra legendary. So if you get 1 legendary, you're going to get 2, which is not bad. I mean, you know, you are going to get an Ancient Shard from this event. There's one in there, and actually there's another one in here, I think. Yeah, there's 2 in total. So with 2 Ancient Shards on the go, I mean, the best way to look at it is about 0.5% of us out there are going to get our hands on well, actually 1% of us out there, because we got 2 shards, are going to get our hands on 2 legendaries. So, you know, 1 in 100 people, which is not bad. So keep that in mind. Fun event. It's a little bit silly, but you can actually take advantage of it and get some pretty good rewards. So definitely consider doing it. I think it's worth it. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.